Hello, world! I'm Chris Pirillo, and you've tuned in for another live edition of the LockerGnome Daily Report, or TLDR for short, your daily dose of geek news, reviews, and answers that you can use, like an answer to the question, Chris, is this really live? Yes, I've answered that question a few times before. It is live. That's just one more bonus you get as one of my super nomies. You're all my nomies if you're paying attention. Thank you for that. But one bonus is you get to watch live. Usually four live videos that we do every weekday for everybody, plus other things, starting at just $2 a month. It would be a great help to me if you became one of the super nomies, but even if you're fine with being one of my nomies, well, I'm fine with that as well. I'm just happy to give a little more to those who give a little more of themselves back to me. We have a few things to cover today. I can't say that it was an amazing day for an array of geek news, but I do want to remind everybody that we are looking for your stories still. Canon came to us and asked us if we knew of people who dealt with tech support. If you're an IT professional, if you've ever helped someone with their computer, we're looking for your stories. A fun story, a story of a user doing something silly, something that made you laugh, something that might be humorous. Tech support guffaws, if you will. Submit your story. You can leave it as a comment. We've got an open Facebook thread as well, a blog post on LockerGnome.com for it too. We have to get you to sign a release, though, if your comment is selected for inclusion on the Canon website, or if you'd like to be included in the giveaway. I started saying, but it's a new series, a line that they have of their printers. imageCLASS, I believe. And let me make sure I got that right. And I probably should have looked when I was saying it, but I've read this enough times that I know, or should know. imageCLASS, indeed. So it's easy to do. You can submit your thoughts on either the dedicated video we did for it. I'll be sure to link it in the video description. Otherwise, we may not see the comment in relation to that particular campaign. We finally got around to blogging the Minion Toys Fun CPU episode, if you're a fan of Minions collectibles, and I know a lot of people are, apparently. I didn't know how much Minion things were out there. How many Minion things were out there? And even more, I'm sure, are going to be coming down the pike with the Minions dedicated movie, which is kind of long overdue. They were apparently the things that stole the show. No one remembers Gru. Everyone remembers the Minions. Well, we've got a roundup of awesome, fun Minion things for you, including Minions duct tape. Didn't know if you knew that existed. We have some. We use it on a regular basis. It's kind of weird. We also did a roundup of superhero mugs, including your ability to drink directly out of Captain America's head. Weird, I know. We were tweeting them out as we usually tweet out fun things every weekday from LockerGnome, at LockerGnome on Twitter, and of course the roundup post on LockerGnome.com. Also, finally documented my Winter Haul 2014, the new Lego sets. I've got another Lego haul to go to, or through, for the month of March. I should probably record that sooner rather than later, given that March is almost over. It's a haul, I mean, because I've got all these sets. I usually get them all at once when I can save money. Just did a video on that a few minutes before TLDR went live. I went live with my Q&A with you and me, talking about where I find coupons, how I find coupons, how I choose to save money, essentially. And so I'll be sharing those tips, or I have shared those tips. Never mind, I was going to say I will be sharing those tips. I share them all the time, but I just did a dedicated video on it this afternoon. The Revogi Smart Power Strip, 33% off at deals.lockergnome.com. We also have the Ondesoft Mac Bundle, 5 apps for free, deals.lockergnome.com, and the Mammoth Interactive Apple Watch Watch Kit course, 93% off. Really, you're gonna wait until it's 94% off, let me guess, to learn everything you can learn about WatchKit if you want to start developing apps for the Apple Watch. I'm not going to talk too much about that today, if only because there's really no news for the Apple Watch, at least right now. You can, starting on April 10th, go into an Apple store and try the Apple Watches. Apart from the Edition, that's the $10,000 watch, I guess. You have to be someone special. I don't know how they qualify you there, but and not that I would ever want to like that anyway. I'd wear it and hey, look, it's a watch. That's more lost on me. It's I understand certain people love watches, luxury items, but a watch I would not wear as a luxury item, more just for utility of it. Not that I'd want a utility anything the watch itself, apart from the software in the watch. I think in the future, maybe you could have like a little projector built in where I go and then beam something onto the wall there. That'd be cool if the Apple Watch or any watch did that. There probably is one, but it's likely either too expensive or too cheap for me to want to bring into my life. By way of patron Earl Green, Windows RT is dead, and I think we've all kind of known this for a while, but Microsoft apparently hasn't learned, according to one person who's reporting on the story. There are, I guess, a couple of versions of Windows 10. That may sound confusing. Why would there be two versions of a product that's named the same thing? Well, one kind of Windows 10 was designed to run on phones and tablets, and another type of Windows 10 was more designed to run on traditional types of PCs. They're called Windows 10, but they're subject to certain kind of restrictions. So they kind of brought trouble upon themselves by creating Windows RT, and I've talked about that at length, so but by saying Windows RT and then Windows 8, they made this bifurcation, the class bifurcation, in terms of what people expected with Windows. Seemingly, they're doing the same kind of thing with Windows 10, with the name. Just even though each one of them is called Windows 10, that's still going to create confusion when your Windows 10 is not like somebody else's Windows 10. Oh, man. It's so less confusing the way Apple does it. You have OS 10, desktop class OS, and then you have iOS, mobile class OS. Google does a better job. You've got Android, the mobile platform, and then you have Chrome OS, which could be run on a traditional type of system. So, Microsoft, I don't know if I've got any better suggestions for you apart from saying maybe you should call the not very Windowsy Windows, not Windows. Just an idea. It's worth a try, right? Because it sounds better than confusing people with two different versions of Windows 10. We had this issue years ago, kind of, with a clearer branding approach with Windows XP Home and Windows XP Professional. I think this played out in Microsoft's favor because most people would buy the professional version of XP. Well, it's more expensive, therefore it's better. Most people didn't necessarily need what Windows XP Professional had to offer. If you got the PC out of the box, XP came with the system, then it was most likely XP Home. And, for most people, that is more than sufficient. They didn't necessarily need a lot of the advanced features that really would have played into Windows XP, especially in networked environments. There was really, at least to my knowledge, no speed differences between Home and Professional. You had more flexibility, of course, with the Windows XP Professional with more features available to you at a higher price. But, apparently Windows 10 is going... It's the same, but it's not the same. But it's the same, and it looks the same, but it's not the same. I don't know. We'll see how that plays out. Well, at least I say this to Microsoft, and I'm being honest with them. I was even nice to them last night in a tweet. I did this tweet where the daughter of mine, my daughter, had her Microsoft onesie on that she was wearing. Was it a onesie? I can't remember. A shirt. We showed it in yesterday's live broadcast. And I took a video. I'm like, look who's Microsoft, because she's small and she's soft because she's a baby. I thought it was cute, but it's my daughter. Of course, she's cute. Anyway, so I did something nice for Microsoft. I do a lot of nice things. So what I'm getting to in a roundabout way, a horrible roundabout way, really, is that I've got big news. Really big news. And it has nothing to do with, no, I'm not having another kid. That is not the big news. That would really be big news. Gnomedex. I've talked about it at points in the past with TLDR. Many of you who have known me for a number of years knew and know that I ran Gnomedex for 10 years. I started Gnomedex before YouTube was around, and I ran it for 10 years. And it evolved into a conference that I enjoyed, but it definitely ran into a few hurdles that I found very difficult to overcome. And so I kind of had to shelve it. Well, Gnomedex is coming back, but it will be nothing like what it was before. Nothing. at all like what it was before, or at least what it evolved into. It'll be more like what Gnomedex was in the very beginning, hopefully amped up by the nth degree. I wanted to bring people together at one level. I wanted to, have a whole bunch of vendors. I wanted to have community leaders. I wanted to have, just a fun environment. Gnomedex evolved, but it went a completely different direction. It wasn't exactly co-opted, but honestly, it found an audience in the blogosphere. And so it became a conference that really catered to that audience, which is one of the reasons why I kind of shelved it. It wasn't interesting to me after 10 years. But Gnomedex is coming back. We just received a verbal agreement from a company that's coming aboard as a major, if not the flagship sponsor for Gnomedex. I'm so excited about this. Gnomedex, as I said, is getting rebooted. This is a big deal. It really is for me, because it's closer to what it is that I've done, closer to what it is that you might be interested in, or this kind of community of nerds and geeks coming together. So it's going to be Vlogger Fair for Nerds and Geeks. But I couldn't call it Vlogger Fair for Nerds and Geeks, because like the advice I was giving Microsoft, it would just create too much confusion. Vlogger Fair is evolving for families and for lifestyle vloggers. It's called something completely different. Gnomedex is just a resurrection of really my original vision for the event, amped up. So I'm going to take all of my successes with Vlogger Fair for running for 2 years, going into its third. We'll have an announcement on that soon. And I'm going to take everything I learned with that and push it into the vertical of just geeks and nerds. So 2 events, 2 completely different audiences. Both will be in the Seattle area, and we expect to have a date announced soon later this year. We hope you'll be able to make it. I've already reached out to a lot of the leading geeky and nerdy YouTubers and have got a light, commitment. They're interested. We have to nail down the details, and I think we can and will. But I intend on finding as many geeky and nerdy alpha YouTubers that I can to bring them out there, and then of course put you in the same room. Would you not love to be in just the same room? The same room. I'm not talking about a massive event here. I mean, it's going to be a small scale kind of event. 1,000 people maybe, right? All in the same room. The chances of you meeting and hanging out with and seeing and talking to your favorite YouTubers who are geeky or nerdy, this is what Gnomedex is going to be about. And it's not just going to be about tech either. I want to identify. I have identified the bigger pop culture nerdy people. The people who do web series, especially those in Seattle. Minecrafters. Yes, gaming would certainly be a part of it. I'm toy collecting even. I'm a huge. It's a part of me, and I find toy collecting, especially as a professional adult kid, very, very nerdy, very geeky. The alpha comic book people, it's the realm of, think of it like the type of people who would go to the fans of CES, not just the business angle of CES, the fans who love tech for the sake of tech, mixed with the fans who love Comic-Con for the sake of Comic-Con. Mix them together, shrink it down somewhat, and that's Gnomedex. That's my vision for what it could be. But it's not up to me. It really isn't. I'm only just setting the stage, so to speak, to make the event, and getting news of this sponsorship is really the news I needed. So it's going to happen. It is. I talked about it briefly in the past, but it is absolutely going to happen. I need to know, and I'm probably going to ask this, if not every day until Gnomedex, but regularly, certainly. I need to know who you want to be there, who you will meet, who you will come to see. Hopefully me, I'd imagine. I mean, I wouldn't want to do an event if you didn't know who I was. That's kind of what Vlogger Fair turned out to be. Oops. But if there's someone that I might have missed, or someone who's not on my radar, I need to know from you, because I want you to come. I want you to be there. I want to do that with you. And potentially do, I don't know how it's going to happen, but do some live broadcast thing if we could figure out how to do it. I'd be able to do live interviews throughout the day for all these, these icons, these rock stars, if you will, these geeky and nerdy YouTubers. It's going to happen. Gnomedex is going to be, to my knowledge, the first YouTuber event specifically for geeks and nerds. Specifically. Just us. Forget a general YouTube event, We need one, too. We need one. So I'm doing it. Tell your favorite YouTuber. Talk to them. Let me know who they are. I mean, if they're geeky, nerdy. If they're a vlogger, well, we got Vlogger for them. Yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm excited about it. That's big news for me. Gnomedex is coming back. I think that's a great title for today's TLDR. Gnomedex is getting rebooted. It is coming back. Okay, back to Windows 10 news in case you're bored by events and meeting people that you look up to. Windows 10, and I'm not one of those, by the way, because I'm short. Windows 10 will come in 32-bit and 64-bit versions, supporting phones up to 8 inches, and requires that these devices have at least 512 megs of RAM, I'd hope, and 4 gigs of storage. That's just a, spec to go by. If your PC does not meet that specification, Windows 10 is probably not for you. But I'd be surprised if it didn't, honestly, at this point in time. Mars Attacks. Okay, these were non-sport trading cards that were released eons ago by Topps. They're apparently making a comeback. They're going to come back on Kickstarter. So cool. I liked the movie. It was campy. I enjoyed it. Never really got into the trading cards. But, certainly it's got an alien invasion. Finding out that it's going to get rebooted is exciting to me. This is likely something that, depending on the rewards tier, I would consider backing. I would. Come on. I mean, who wouldn't want to be a part of that? Mars Attacks, trading cards? If Topps doing that, I'm in. Man, I will crowdfund anything awesome. Really. Unless it's something related to tech. Because I've been burned too many times. The most recent Kickstarter project that I've backed is a project by someone who is just as passionate with classic action figure toys as I am. He's compiling a very high quality book, and this is specifically in relation to the Kenner products that were out in the mid to late 90s. So of course I backed it, and as a bonus I get his other books, I guess the printed versions as a bonus, which is awesome for me, because I love that kind of information. I would have eaten it up when I was a kid, so to have it on hand, compiled in a very high-quality way, it makes me very excited. There's a stretch goal for that. If you were a Star Wars figure collector back in the mid-90s, there's a chance that if we, because I'm a part of it, I'm a backer, right? I'm as much a part of the project as anybody. If we reach 5,000... because right now it's like at 3,000 or 3,300. I'm a part of that. If we reach 5,000, I guess we'll all get digital copies of a dedicated Shadows of the Empire book. And I also found out today that the man who shot Star Wars, the guy who basically photographed all the classic Kenner figurines that you saw like on backs. Let me see. Yeah, that might... Oh, sorry. I'm making sure I've grabbed the right one here. Oh, look at my butt on live internet. There you go. You thought you saw it all today. No, you did not. You've now seen this. So, basically, the man who photographed all the Star Wars toys throughout the years, he's going to be donating some of his photography to this guy's project. So that's awesome. So cool. It's nice to know that the guy who took all those iconic photos is A, still around, and B, still involved with the community at such a deep level. That, to me, that's so exciting. Tech gets me exciting, but crowdfunding has burned me way too many times with technology for me to get excited ever again about a crowdfunded tech product. Ever. But when you've got a track record from somebody who's done something before, who's got a reasonable way of getting something else done, yeah, I'll back those things. And usually if it's media related, there's a greater chance of it not being messed up. Like if it's a print book, the chances of it being messed up are very, 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 very slim. So, other Star Wars news, Star Wars Battlefront will debut in April at Star Wars Celebration. I don't think I'm going to make it. I'm disappointed. I wanted to be at Star Wars Celebration. This would have been a good year, but I won't be able to make it. I'm very, very sad about that. If there was one event that I would want to go to this year, aside from my own, Star Wars Celebration. So I'm going to see what I can do about, with Gnomedex, getting some Star Wars stuff, officially, from Disney. I'm going to go for it. I'm going to try. I will bend over backwards. Very, very excited about that. I've got my fingers crossed for it, and I'm trying to make all the connections that I need to make. Sorry, I realized that made me look like I was going to throw up. No, I just thought of something. I got this. This is my Grinch grin. I just got this evil grin. Hang on. Hey, I got to write this down. Otherwise, I will forget. I've written it down. Did I tell you that macaroni and cheese was evil? It is. And apparently there's a recall for Kraft macaroni and cheese. Apparently some metal may have been included in certain Kraft macaroni and cheese boxes or something. You may have ingested metal. Yikes. Told you it was evil. I'm not a fan of macaroni and cheese. That's Schadenfreude. I'm not, laughing. I have macaroni and cheese in my office, right here, or my workshop. I have the Darth Vader macaroni and cheese. Oh, and Killian. I don't know if Killian's paying attention to TLDR. He finally got back to me on Twitter. The Killian00 on Twitter say, "Hey, Killian, Chris Pirillo just mentioned you." Killian tweeted out the picture of the Darth Vader cereal box and says he's going to try to get one for me. It's over in Ireland. And I wasn't quite clear as to what he was explaining, like he got an empty box or something. Like, why couldn't you get a full box? So he's going to try to get a full box of Darth Vader cereal for me. I'd be very, very happy to pay for shipping and handling. I have to follow up with Killian as well. All right, hang on. I really got to get better at taking notes. But see, I'll take notes on stickies because they will annoy me until I take care of them. Even with the color. Green is not my color. That's Diana. Other big news that I think is rather geeky, personally, just because I loved this when I was a kid, and it's very retro. Joseph Gordon-Levitt is going to be starring in Fraggle Rock. He's also producing Fraggle Rock, the movie. This is new, brand new, breaking news today. Fraggle Rock is coming back in movie form. Duh! Come on, dude. That's pretty cool. I loved the Fraggles. I would say that I probably liked Fraggle Rock more than I liked the Muppet Show, of course, Sesame Street. But in terms of the regular Muppet productions, or anybody who is relying on the Jim Henson creature, the workshop, Fraggle Rock was one of my favorites. I couldn't even tell you I saw all the episodes because we didn't have HBO. We were only able to watch it at my grandparents' place. They had HBO, and we didn't have HBO. My parents, we had it briefly, and A, it cost money, so my parents likely didn't have it. And B, one day we were found having watched Poltergeist. That's the thing. Because we watched Poltergeist, we lost access to HBO. So I grew up HBO-less because of Poltergeist. I'm not a fan of horror movies in general. I think Adam's the one who narked on us, or Ben. Was it me? It may have been me. One of us got scared at night because of a movie we saw. I don't think it was me though. I think I would have been smarter than that. But that's how it got taken away. Oh, Elon Musk. He said a couple things that are interesting. One, and I agree with him to a large degree. One, the Model S is not a car, but a sophisticated computer on wheels. Hello, makes sense to me. And he also says cars you can drive will eventually be outlawed. I also agree with that. Can't wait. I think that's going to happen within 20 years. Within 20 years' time, the notion of driving will be so antiquated, we'll drive things, but that will be for sport. I think driving as a sport will not go away. I think cars as collectibles or collector's cars or building your own is not going to go away. But in terms of general transportation needs, I'm pretty sure that's the way it's going to go. And I'm fine. I'm happy. Love that idea. 23% of car crashes today are caused, not just today, but in these days are caused by mobile devices. Distracted driving. It's a bigger deal than drunk driving. DD. Man, so it's just something that Alon had said. Something I also want to add, I am going to be turning in our current leases, and I'm going to be trying something. You'll see it not play out so much in this channel as you would in our my classic YouTube channel for the reviews, and then our vlogs. What I'm going to be doing, or what we're going to be doing, is we're going to be trying a different car every week. I'm working with an agency that basically is connecting me with a variety of manufacturers that have all these new cars. And for a week's time, Diana and I and Jedi, we get to try a different car. And I'm going to do that as long as I can stand. But every week, a new car. Every week, a new car. Every week, a new car. But out of that, number one, we get to vlog in a different car every week. I get to try a variety of cars to decide what I like. And you try it in the scenario that's comfortable to me. We also I get to do a review at the end of the week. I've got to decide how I'm going to do that review. And it may very well be me driving in the car and possibly even interspersing B-roll from the beginning of when I originally got the car and then at the point where I actually have the car. So I'm working on that. It's going to happen. It is. I mean, basically the deal is done. It's easy. But it'll be starting in April. I'll start to review cars from my perspective. I'm not a car guy at all. I'm not going to be like, oh, the horsepower. And hey, I like how it drives. I like how it feels. The turn radius is good. I mean, I like the tech stuff. You can do this, you can do that, you can do this. It's amazing this, and it's a good ride. It's smooth. It's that, whatever comes in my head. Whatever I want to talk about in that car review and give you my perspective after a week's experience with driving that car. Very, very excited about that. So that's just an update because people were giving me suggestions as to which car we should get. And I said, why should we get just one car? Why couldn't we just try several? And that's what we're doing. So stay tuned for car reviews on a weekly basis in the classic Chris Pirillo channel. I can't believe I'm going to be doing car reviews. I'm going to try. This is what my goal is. I'm going to try to do that for a year. I'm going to try. 52 cars in a year. That's a lot. That is I don't think I've ever owned a vehicle outright. It's usually been a lease. Well, no, I guess I have. But I've been leasing in recent years. So that's a big deal for me. Huge deal. I'm going to try. And you will be you're along for the ride. Kind of expands the repertoire of that channel as a variety channel. I'll be talking about, action figures I get. I'll be talking about tech that I might have, like within CPU, new foods, new drinks, new fun things, collectibles, and cars, apparently. What can I say? I'm a professional adult kid. And I'm okay with that. Let's see here. What else do we have? A couple things. One, Google is reportedly being basically called to task on blackmailing websites into giving it content for free. Yikes. They basically said to certain websites, well, you got to give us your data that we can surface. Otherwise, we're going to ding you in the search engine with the results. I've had this ooky kind of feeling. Ooky, icky, bachi with Google and search results in recent years. This doesn't surprise me at all. At all. I don't trust search results. I've stopped trusting search results, which is really kind of sad. I trust you more than I trust search results. I trust you. I'll ask you. Last night we were asking about a blender, like which blender we should get for Jedi to make food. Apparently they make baby blenders. I'm freaking out. Like Diana's, it's a baby blender. I'm like, what? So I tweeted it out, which blender we should get for Jedi, for making food for Jedi. And some of you responded. It was really cool. You were making the same kind of recommendations. And we already have the Will It Blend blender. The BlendTech blender. One of them, at least. And Diana has used that in the past. But apparently they make a certain accessory that makes it easier for making baby food. So Ashley Escada, who had mentioned one of the baby blenders. And I replied and said, really? I was thinking BlendTech. And at that point, almost immediately, BlendTech replies and says, well, we actually, our founder of the company, we're out of Utah. He has 40 grandkids. And, we use this. They use this. There's a certain accessory or an attachment that can help make smaller portions, and specifically for baby food. So we're making our baby food, I think, in the BlendTech, or at least going to try. They even have recipes. We're making baby food in the world's geekiest blender, I think. Not a baby blender, which the reviews I read were just not that great. Now, BlendTech, on the other hand, has been absolutely stellar. Rock solid. The last bit of news, which is kind of small news. It's interesting. It's a blip on the radar. I'm never going to use it. Facebook is letting users send money via Messenger. Might be interesting to you, because it's just so difficult to send money any other way. Chance for Facebook to make more money. A chance for you to, exchange money more frequently. Easier with friends. I don't know. That whole everything is just not just confusing, it's just muddied. I like clean and simple. That's me. Clean and simple. Easy. Thank you for your attention. Thank you. I do appreciate it. I appreciate you. I love you. I do. I really do. I am going to move into the Patron Hangout. We do this every weekday. You can join us. Again, your patronage, your constant support starting at $2 a month is very, very helpful. And we're very happy to spend more time with you. I'll answer questions as Liz sees them, and we usually interact. You see behind the scenes. We'll talk about things that we need to do and get done. And then I have to wrap it up for the next event call that I have. We talk about Vlogger Fair and Gnomedex. So if I'm not doing one thing, I'm usually doing another thing. Thank you for your time and your attention. But at this point, I'm going to leave you to your own devices.